Welcome to this edition of Dufferin Life. I'm your host, Teena Avery. Thank you so much for tuning in. So I have a guest here. I'm not telling you who he is just yet. He was on the show a couple years ago, and he did what I thought was a phenomenal trek that he did in support of women's shelters. Dave Grime, thank you so much for joining me again.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here again for the second time.
I want to start off because, I mean, we had you before you left the last time. Mm-hmm. So I want to talk just for a couple minutes about your experience and remind everybody where you went and the kind of terrain that you were on. And
so the last time we did the women's shelter trek, and it's to benefit women's shelters across Canada. Mm-hmm. Royal LePage. There's about 100 people that go from the East Coast to the West Coast.
Okay.
The last trek was in Ecuador. Mm-hmm. And it was at high altitude. Okay. The terrain was pretty barren. Mm-hmm. It almost looked like a farmer's field when you were up there. Okay. Not a whole heck of a lot of trees, mm-hmm. But you were up in high altitude, and a lot of people did struggle. Okay. With the altitude. Mm-hmm. But it was beautiful. It was gorgeous. We circumvented the volcano called Cotopaxi. Okay. Which was active at the time, so we couldn't go up it. Right. So yeah, we had to stay away from that. Yeah. But yeah, it was good. That was a good 5.5 day trek. Covered about 118 kilometers. Okay. In 5 days, and yeah, it was challenging. Mm-hmm. Some people. We did summit another volcano. Some people didn't make it. Okay. But, the group that I was in, we did. Okay. But yeah, it was good. I'd never been down into South America, so it was great to go down there and see South America and the culture and everything that Ecuador has to offer. We had the opportunity to go right at the equator, right where the equator was. Mm-hmm. And I will tell you, it is true that if you flush a toilet on one side of the equator and on the other, it is actually true. It is actually true. It goes the opposite way. We went to this museum. Mm-hmm. Yep, they put leaves in a thing, and they put water in it. Okay. And it spun one way, 5 feet the other, on the other side of the actual equator. It went the other way. Okay. I thought it was
just like a myth, like an urban myth.
I thought it was a myth, but it is exactly true. So yeah, Ecuador was really fun. It was a challenge for a lot of people, but yeah, we all made it through it, and last year we raised $1.7 million for women's shelters across Canada. 80% of what we raised this year and last time, 80% goes to the local charity, which is who I am donating to, which is Family Transition Place here in Orangeville. Mm-hmm. And the other 20% goes to domestic violence prevention programs across Canada.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I believe it's a great cause, and I mean.
No, it definitely is, and you get quite the adventure while you're doing it for sure. Yeah. But you're about a week away from a new adventure.
26 days. Yeah, I leave on the 16th, and the trek starts on the 28th. Okay. So I have a little bit of time to explore a little bit of Cambodia and see. I've never been to Southeast Asia. Okay. The most trekking I've done in the past has been Nepal. But yeah, this is going to be completely different. We are in Cambodia, so we're in the lowlands. We're not going to have to deal with altitude. Right,
but you'll have other things to deal with.
We're going to be dealing with, it'll be like Indiana Jones. We're going to be dealing with humidity, bugs, snakes, beetles, sleeping in a one-man tent. Yeah, for 5 days. So the trek entails, I think it's around close to 100 kilometers, and we're doing it over 5 days. Okay. And yeah, we'll be sleeping in tents. We'll be hiking everything we need other than the tents and stuff will be set up for us. Okay. So everything in the little day pack. Right. We have, yeah, here it is.
Right, perfect.
So that day pack probably would be filled with, I'd say, 4 liters of water, probably needing refills along the way. Water purification things, energy gel packs, the food that I would have for the entire day. Okay. first aid stuff.
It's not a lot of room in here.
No, there's not. It gets packed up pretty quick because you don't want a whole lot.
Right.
It's not like a alpine trekking because
Right.
we do, and the charity challenge, they do set up the camps along the way,
Okay.
so we don't have to worry about bringing our own tents and stuff like that.
Okay.
I'll have my blow-up mattress, my sleeping bag, and all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
And my lunch will be in that as well. But
Okay.
it's not that big, and you pack light. You
Yeah.
have to really pack light.
Well, you don't really want to be carrying too much
No.
weight, right?
No, no,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
So I'm going to say I probably would have preferred Ecuador over, because you're talking about snakes. I'm snakes and okay. Let's be honest. It's the humidity. See this. I don't do humidity very well. So
Hey,
yeah.
you don't have to worry about. It's not a glamorous trip. Yeah, it'll be. We'll be dirty. We won't be showering for 5 days.
Right.
And yeah, we'll be hiking between 18 and 20 kilometers a day
Okay.
through the jungle. It's for an amazing cause.
It is. It is.
And I do believe it's important in my heart, because some of the people that are on this trek have suffered from domestic violence and
Okay.
abuse, and they are people that I know who are actually, 2 of them are in my group.
Right.
So,
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
so I mean,
I do believe it's a great cause. And
It definitely is that. So let's talk about the differences. So, I mean, I know you've been on treks before and that sort of thing, but what's the difference between doing something at such a high altitude? Like when you're getting ready for it, does anything change?
you can't really train for high altitude.
Okay. Well, I guess not unless you're actually going up.
In high altitude, yeah. In high altitude, you have to, it's called acclimatization.
Right.
And that's when you do acclimatization treks. Like in Ecuador, I landed there. Quito, Ecuador, it's pretty high.
Okay.
It's pretty high, and you would have problems. People had problems just walking around the streets to begin with, but then you get acclimatized for it.
Okay.
But then
You go up
there
higher.
we would go up. There was a 1,000-meter gondola you could take up. Then you come back down, and then I went up the second day, and then I hiked up with my friend Hunter Aubrey, who was in my group again this year, another 800 meters, and then you come down. So it gets your red blood cells acclimatized
Right.
to the altitude.
Okay.
Now, how do I train for Indiana Jones style? I don't know. I've been...
You sit in the shower and in the humidity,
No,
yeah.
I've been wearing I've been around 20, 30-pound weight vest.
Okay.
In the humidity that we've had this
Right.
summer, and just hiking the beautiful trails that we have around here,
Okay,
like
that
a
makes
lot of the
sense,
Bruce
yeah.
Trail loops, and just getting the legs ready for 20K hikes every
Right.
day in high heat. And
Right.
I guess that's all I can really do.
Yeah, I mean that makes perfect sense. You had a good summer for a lot of hot days to get out there for sure. And
Yep.
I was
And now we-
hibernating in because I don't do that kind of thing. But yeah.
And now we got, we're starting the rainy season, so yeah, I'm testing
So
out
you
all
had-
my rain gear now, and
Yeah.
I'm doing it every day.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the whole jungle scenario is, I think, to me would be, it's like, wow. I don't know if I would. I think I'd be okay. I mean, I'm not really afraid of like things like snakes and whatever. But I mean, there you don't know what kind of snakes they are. It's not like you're going, hey, there's a snake going by in the garden, kind of thing.
Yeah. I've hiked northern Australia rainforest once, and it's hot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sort of expecting that sort of thing.
Yeah, I've been at the base of a rainforest once, and I was like, I was a lot younger too, and I was like, yeah, I don't like this. Like, I'm just like the humidity, just at the base of it. Like we didn't even go up. It is phenomenal. So it does take a lot of energy to be able to work through something like that when you're going nonstop.
And apparently we're going to be in the lowlands.
Okay.
So we will be hiking. So also in that bag, I'm going to have 3 pairs of footwear. My hardcore leather hiking boots,
Right.
these, as well as water shoes, because we will be walking through rivers.
Okay.
They recommend leech socks, so
Oh,
leeches
okay.
don't get on you.
Oh well.
So yeah.
Where do you buy leech
yeah,
socks?
I don't know.
I think somewhere where they have leeches.
I
mean, it's not that our lakes don't
yet.
have leeches or anything
Yeah.
like that, because they do.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, yeah, I can't
But yeah,
imagine.
it'll be an adventure, and it's for a great cause. And I can't say more. I think there's over 90 people going across Canada.
Okay.
And you have to apply for it. I think there was like 500 applicants,
Okay.
and 100 got in, and I believe there's a couple of people that have dropped out, just because maybe they didn't know what they were getting into.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're all trying to raise. Last year, 1.7 million. We're above $1 million right now.
Okay.
And it's the final push
Right.
to raise money for women's shelters across Canada. 100% of what we raise goes towards women's shelters and domestic violence prevention programs. Everything else, our plane tickets and everything else, is all on our dollar.
Right. Yeah.
Yep,
And I think,
and the cost.
you know, and I think a lot of people, I mean, it's good that you say that, because a lot of people just assume, well, it's all part of it and it all comes out of that, but it doesn't.
It doesn't. No.
Yeah. Do you have any idea why they do this every 2 years and not every year?
I just think it is a lot of planning.
I guess it would be, yeah.
It is a lot of planning. They normally do it with the Royal LePage Sales Conference. They'll announce every 2 years, and then they'll announce when the next
Okay.
trek is. So yeah,
Okay.
every year it might be a little much, but yeah, it's just every 2 years. It's been like that in the past, but
Well, I think too, I mean, there's a lot of fundraising that happens for a lot of worthy causes. So I think spreading it out too might be advantageous for people, like for the organization, because you need to kind of build. And I can't even imagine. I mean, I'm an event planner, and I can't even imagine trying to plan something like this without being on location of where you're going to be going.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's I will say it's very well run. The food is great. You know, you get a box lunch that fits in there with all your boots and everything else, and all your water and energy gear and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I was very impressed at how well it was run in Ecuador, and can't wait for Cambodia. It's going to be amazing.
We have a little bit less than a minute. Let's talk about really quickly, what your fundraising goals are. Do you have a personal fundraising goal?
Well, the minimum I need to raise is $6,000.
Okay.
I've surpassed that.
Okay.
And I was hoping to double that.
Okay.
So I am on a bit of a push now.
Okay. Because we're getting close.
Because it's all for Orangeville, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very, very worthwhile.
Yeah.
Dave, I want to thank you so much for joining me today, and we wish
you
you
so
the
much,
best of
Teena.
luck and a nice cool breeze for your trek for shelter.
I know. And yep, hopefully you can share my link on
Yep,
a
already
Facebook
done.
page and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, wish me luck.
Yep, absolutely. And don't you go anywhere. We'll be right back.
This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
The human brain. It can still leave us completely mystified. Do you see something?
Hidden cameras are all over the place.
She's experiencing Truman Show syndrome. The patient has no control over his own arm.
Says here he's non-speaking.
Non-speaking is just a symptom of something bigger. Question is what?
I know you're not a real doctor.
You're right. I just play one on TV.
Public transit, garbage pickup, parks and recreation programs, snow removal on your street. How can you stay informed about these and other important local services? Tune to City Council coverage on Rogers TV. See your community leaders at work on Rogers TV City Council coverage.
Welcome back to Dufferin Life. Thanks so much for staying with us. If you're just tuning in, as always, you're tuning in at a great time. Joining me today, we have Wendy Cook. She works with HABI, which is the Headwaters Acquired Brain Injury Group. It's a group, yes. Thank you so much for joining me, Wendy.
My pleasure. Thank you for having us.
It was truly my pleasure. So what I want to do and where I want to start is I just want you to promote awareness. Let's just talk about what the group is. I mean, it sounds I am tongue-tied today, apparently, but it sounds like it's, you would know what it is, but let's talk a little bit about it. Right. I'm going to stop talking because apparently I'm talking over myself, so you go ahead.
It's a community support group run by volunteers, strictly. We're a nonprofit. We don't fundraise. Our focus is just on community education about brain injury awareness. Also, within our community support group, we do brain injury education, and we just support each other on the journey.
Okay.
Yeah, and our big effort right now is to make sure that the public knows that we exist. We're 16 years celebrating, and we probably had a couple years before that, even. Just to make sure that when people come home from trauma hospitals like Sunnybrook or St. Mike's, London Hospital, that they know that there's support to come home to.
Right.
Often the families and caregivers don't get a lot of education about brain injury while they're there, but now they have to care for this person with a brain injury, and it can be very overwhelming when you don't have the education you need. And we like to be there for the support and to also tell you about what other services are available in our community or around Dufferin County that support people with brain injury. And we're free. The whole organization, our group, is run by people who our lives have been touched by brain injury. So we recognize and we appreciate that support for all of us and what a difference that makes in your life.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I've talked to it in a different scenario, but I've talked to people about, when my mom and dad passed, you talk to people and not everybody, everybody, of course, says how sorry they are and asks you how you're doing and all of those things. But speaking to somebody that's been through the same situation, there's a different level of comfort and support. And it's not that those other people don't care, because they genuinely do. But it's just about talking to somebody who has been through it.
Absolutely.
That kind of understands where you're sitting. So it's the same sort of idea.
Very much. We put a big emphasis on connection, making connections in the group. And we're also social minded as well. We do go out into the in the community and have dinner night out, maybe in January. A few different social events, so people stay connected with our community as well. Because some people feel isolated after their brain injury, because the bigger world doesn't understand how it can be very confusing for the person surviving a brain injury, as well as the community. What we know is that the community at large doesn't really understand brain injury and the long-term consequences thereof until it happens to you or someone close to you. And more often than not, the person who's walking and talking who has a severe brain injury, it's hard to understand that, but that inside the brain, it's all confusing.
And it doesn't work. It's not operating the same way.
It's not operating the way it used to. And it can take up to 2 years for the swelling in the brain to come down. Longer than your wrist after a sprain here, it can take up to about 2 years. And that's a long time when you're living with it on a day-to-day basis. But within our group, generally speaking, you don't have to say too much, and we all understand what you're going through and where you've been in the hospital context.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the other aspect to it is whether there's a caregiver or a family member that's living with that person, they need support as well.
Absolutely. Our group we welcome the caregiver, the siblings of the survivor, the children of the survivor, if you're dating a partner with brain injury, because we know that it's very much like the stone you throw into the water. There's a huge ripple effect.
Right.
And usually the people living closest to you are the first ones affected, and they need support also.
They do,
and they
yeah.
need that education piece. And we will be doing, it's called the Brain Basics course, again this year or in January. And it's we do it in conjunction with OBIA, the Ontario Brain Injury Association. It's a well-done course. This will be our 4th time doing it. And it's education for the survivor, as well as caregivers and close friends, because there's a lot to learn. And sometimes that isolation comes when you think, oh God, I'm kind of quirky, things just don't work the same and I'm embarrassed about it. But when you take the course, and it's a 2-day course, you understand that many of those symptoms that you might be having are actually classic brain injury symptoms.
Yeah, no,
and you don't feel as alone, and you understand what's going on in here a lot better.
Yeah, and I think that's
empowering.
Very, yeah, absolutely it is. I know I had a friend that had a brain injury, but they didn't diagnose it as a brain injury at first, and then, you know, but after specialist, and then finally she got to the right one, and then she was like, the specialist just told me I have a brain injury, and I've had it, for 8 months or whatever happened. She's like, now I understand why I'm not remembering the way I used to, how I like certain functions. Like, she had seen changes, but she had had a fall, and there's so many other things that happened that it was like a light went on, and she said, now I understand.
And here's
why
a
it's
statistic. It's kind of scary, but the reason I want you to have education sooner than later about your particular brain injury, because there is no 2 brain injuries alike.
Right.
And sometimes it can be affected by your age as well.
Okay.
They say the best time to have a brain injury is actually in your 40s.
Okay.
Where you've your body memory, just everything has solidified in that brain. All the information you're going to need about life's basic tasks are in there.
Okay.
So brain injury rehab comes after, where you're trying to, we put you in situations where maybe even the sensory around you helps you to remember, oh, this is what I do. I water the plants once a week.
Right. Okay.
That smell in my mom's kitchen, oh, it must be spaghetti night. Now I remember.
Okay.
So that's to help the brain unload and discover and make those pathways again and those connections again to what they actually did remember. There's no guarantee after you've had a brain injury that you're going to be the same person.
Right.
But you can learn to manage your symptoms. There's lots of research done. There's lots of help by other survivors that talk about ways or different people, specialists who have helped them discover ways to manage their symptoms. And sometimes those symptoms over your lifetime will slow down. Sometimes they will dissipate.
Okay.
But it does take time. And I found for my family, for my son who had a brain injury, a significant brain injury, one of all the paid support people we had over the years, speech language pathology, physiotherapy, occupational therapy, Botox injections in his legs, you name it, we did it. We tried everything. We had nothing to lose.
Right.
But I will tell you that the number one thing that I'm reminded of that helped us to survive those years was the support. That you're not alone, and that this, extraordinary life living with a brain injury, you need a lot of support because it's the long haul. It's a journey. It's not a sprint. It really is a journey. And and you need that you need the support of people who understand.
Absolutely, and I think no matter what happens in life, you always look for support depending on what's happened, and I can understand what you're saying and relate to the fact that it makes perfect sense. You need that support. It doesn't matter if you've got a personal support worker that's working with you, a family member, whatever. It doesn't matter the injury.
Yes.
You need someone that will support.
And we're
the
free.
Whole of it. Yeah.
We're free, and we're volunteers. All of us, all of our lives have been touched by brain injury in different capacities. Right. Someone might be representing someone who's had a brain aneurysm. One of our other members has had a brain tumor removed, and praise the Lord, it was successfully. She's cancer-free 10 years later, but she had all the classic symptoms of brain injury. Yeah. So there's many different ways. The fall, lots of car accidents. Yeah. There's many ways to have a brain injury. It's pretty scary.
It absolutely is. And I want to talk about what, if you haven't noticed already, the back of my couch looks a little bit different, and I want to make sure we're touching on what's going on here, and the good news about this particular flag that's here. So we've got a couple minutes, so I wanted to make sure that you have a chance to tell us all about what's adorning our couch today.
Oh, thank you. This was a legacy project on behalf of my son, Keaton Cook, who passed away last year in August on the 15th. 29 years post-injury from his significant brain injury from a car accident, but it was definitely related to that initial injury, and it was very unexpected, but he did pass. And he has a new address. He's living with the Lord. But we, as a family, decided that we had tremendous help and support from the Ontario Brain Injury Association over the years. And we also understood the incredible need for support when you come home from hospital, because initially Keaton was in hospital for almost 10 months, and I lived with him in 3 different hospital settings over 10 months before we came home again after that initial injury. What this flag, there was 43 people across Southern Ontario who came up with designs for the flag. We offered Obaya a challenge, Ontario Brain Injury Challenge. We gave them the money, but we said, this money is to be spent specifically on coming up with a flag that will be shown every June 1st in every Southern Ontario community that represents support for people with brain injury in their community. Also, it's going to go across Canada. That's the plan as well, so that when you come home from a trauma hospital, that there is support in your community. And it'll be shown June 1st. Okay, amazing. And you're up, I know, and I wish we could talk longer, and we're going to bring you back. I know that there's an award involved that maybe you, and we're going to talk about that. But I want to thank you, Wendy, so much for coming on the show and sharing everything with us. And thank you for joining us. Until next time, bye-bye for now. So we're still on.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
I'm Wendell Clark with a word about winning. We all know it takes a team effort in any sport and with any challenge. You can be a part of the winning team that shuts out impaired driving. Whether you're out on the town or just hanging out with friends, drink responsibly. Always have a plan for a safe ride home for yourself, your family, and your friends. You'll be helping to shut out impaired driving.
Visit ArriveAlive.org to find out